Alright guys, so I'm going to be doing something new. I'm going to call this the first shot. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that name. But I was watching some of my videos before, and I was noticing I'd have a blank screen on for like the first minute to 3 minutes. That's not visually, for a visual medium, that's not a good thing, having a blank screen. So I figure I'm going to put make this the first shot. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that name. I got to come up with something better, I think, but... So that's my first shot, black, white, and red. Red Sonja with the Perillo cover. I want to also address last week's episode. So apparently I left the cartoon Tetes out a little too long. YouTube shut my comments section down. Too risky. But I appreciate all the thumbs up, and probably one of my most popular videos, which is surprising, for not even be able to leave comments. But I did have to give him a little call, so this is what happened. My wife took the video footage.
As usual, go fuck yourself. No, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
True story, that's what actually happened. Another thing is, we're going to acknowledge the part where Red Sonja here on this cover looks like Billie Eilish. But this week's vid is going to be about my last days at the newsstand, and figured I'd do a little brief history about the shops I used to go to, or not the shops, the newsstands that I used to go to. Newsstand / pharmacy that I used to go to when I was first starting collecting. That's how I began collecting. So these are two of the places I used to visit when I was 10 years old to about 13, 14 years old. The first of those two newsstands was Page 3. It was a newsstand / lotto / convenience store in Bloomfield, also known as Pittsburgh's Little Italy. For PGH people, it was located on Liberty Avenue, a few blocks away from West Penn Hospital, heading towards downtown Pittsburgh. My grandfather would give my brother and sister and myself $1 or $2 to buy comics or candy or whatever. Usually once a week we made the trip up to Page 3. It was a place where I would become a comic book collector. It's where I was first introduced to the likes of the Punisher, Lobo, Guy Gardner, as well as some classics like Batman and Superman. It was a place where I was first introduced to the art of Norm Brayfogle. The second place, even though it had like a newsstand, it had a spinner rack in it, but it was a pharmacy. It was Wilson's Pharmacy it is located on Penn Avenue near Children's Hospital. This would be the place where I would be introduced to G.I. Joe. I mean, I had like a one-off issue somewhere that some kid gave to me in a trade, but this is where I would start buying it almost monthly. Being introduced to Larry Hama's writing month after month was just... what he did with the toy line was just amazing. And even at that young of age, I knew how good it was. But definitely a high, influential in my collecting style. But yeah, those newsstands there'll never be anything like that ever again. That's sort of sad, but it's sort of cool to live through too. But those two fine establishments wouldn't be the last place I bought off the newsstand. I can literally pinpoint in my collection where I stopped buying books off the newsstand and was full on board at the local comic shop that I had a pull list at. It was actually with some of my Superman comics that I began digging through, like Superman Action Comics issue 687, Superman 78, And of course, the adventures of Superman with the 90s bad boy himself there, the Superboy. But yeah, Superman was the last comics that I picked up off the newsstand. By this time, I had Batman on my pull list at the local comic shop. I had G.I. Joe, Ghost Rider, Punisher. I believe I had Daredevil at the time also on there. And I had a few odds and ends that I was buying at the time. I think Detective Comics was still on my pull list at this point. Because this was in getting close to the summer of '93, I believe. Yeah, it says June of '93, so these came out usually maybe a month or two earlier than what it says on the cover here. But the cool thing about the Superman comics too, you could see there's a little diamond here, so you could know you were reading in order. See, it says 12, so there'll be 13, 14, and 15. This is number 14. I got my issue 13 somewhere, but it's buried in a tomb somewhere, so I'll have to locate it. But yeah, I didn't buy them from Page 3. I didn't buy them from Wilson's Pharmacy. I was buying these ones at 7-Eleven. For some reason, I always bought the Superman books off the newsstand at 7-Eleven. I think it's just because after work, because I'd work till 10 o'clock at night, and 7-Eleven would be open. I'd stop and get something to drink, and I'd just pick up a Superman comic for, it was $1.50 at this time. I did that pretty much all the way till this point right here. So I had a bunch of a nice run of the Superman, especially with the Reign of Superman, because I was really interested in that storyline. So I was buying it up. But yeah, it was just, I could literally in my collection tell where I stopped, and this is where I stopped. I stopped with issue 501 of Adventures of Superman. Then I think I would go on to buy, put it on my pull list at the local comic shop for some reason. Maybe they stopped selling them at the 7-Eleven, or I can't not remember the reason why. I just stopped buying them and just put them on my pull list. I mean, because I wasn't even getting a discount at that time at the local comic shop. It was like getting a discount back then was like almost unheard of. They just held your books. It was 2 years later when I set up my second pull list at a different shop that I ended up getting like a 10% discount. Yeah, 7-Eleven used to have, they didn't have too many books, but they had the big names like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, different books like that. But it was, yeah, they had a nice selection of like 10 or 11 books. I remember going in. It was on a spinner rack. The one I went to, it was on a basically like a bookshelf that you could fit like maybe 7 or 8 issues on top of it. And they were all like, I go in there, they'd be all like this, or more like this, I should say. Then you just like, yeah, pick out. They have a couple of stacks of like Superman 501 or The Adventures of Superman like 501, like 4 or 5 of them. Then 4 or 5 of this one, 4 or 5 of that one. So, but yeah, just blew me away just when I was going through my collection. It brought back all those memories, and that's what I think collecting, us hobbyists and stuff like that, takes us back to a certain point in time. Like it's like almost what is it, like an archaeologist or something like that, digging yeah, through layers and layers of just stuff, and then be like, oh yeah, I can pinpoint, I'm still in high school at this point, I'm working a part-time job, barely having enough money to go home, but I'm still putting paying $1.50 for a Superman comic, yeah. Spending my money wisely, And if you remember the last issue that you picked up off the newsstand, I'd like to hear about it, man. Make a video or leave a comment down below, please. I want to hear about this. But yeah, these are my last issues of buying books off the newsstand. I'm still missing, of course, sort of had to go out of order, like I said. I'm missing number 13. I can't remember what it's. Obviously Actions Adventures. So it's Man of Steel. So so I'll find it eventually. But yeah, my last couple issues off the newsstand, man. So next up we got, I just want to talk about a couple issues I picked up off the rack. The first of two books I'd like to talk about is Night Terrors Superman. Picked this up just because this the Super Reaper, pretty gnarly looking. But I was surprised how decent this was. I haven't been really following this storyline outside of just the Batman one and now this one, Superman. Heard good things about the Green Lantern one, Night Terrors, two-parter. But I really wanted to get this just because the design of this costume of this character. But I ended up reading this, and I was pretty impressed with just how good it was. Lots of cool stuff. Obviously, the art style in this is pretty cool here. It's sort of like a old story, Superman's worst nightmare. I think we've been through this a few times, but this gives a little bit of different twist. But I thought it was cool. This panel right here. That's the reason I wanted to show this panel right here. So Superman gets pushed here. You can see right out the window. He gets hit so hard. He gets pushed through different panels of the comic. But yeah, this Super Reaper, I thought that was a cool design. Possibly a character that can different possibilities with him. But yeah, I recommend this book enough. And there's another scene in here I'll show you. I won't give too much away. But I thought it was pretty cool. With Kara, she's in another nightmare, and she starts punching through it. You can see it starts cracking, and she punches through another nightmare into Clark's nightmare, or Superman's nightmare, whatever you want to call them. I thought that part was really cool. So yeah, this is really interesting. I decided, so I'm definitely gonna pick up part 2 of this series, and I might try Green Lantern. Has anybody read Green Lantern Night Terrors? Let me know down below what you guys think of it. On this premise, it's like should be a series I should be picking up, I should say. But I just have no desire to pick up 40 odd issues of something. I'll just wait for the trade on that one. Next up and last is the Incredible Hulk. I recommend this book also. It's a return to form. It makes the Hulk a monster. Even the insides of it, you can just tell it's like, okay, we're back to bringing Hulk back to basics here instead of Hulk in space and all this other nonsense, man. Just make the Hulk a damn monster. That's what he is. An out of control being. It's the age of monsters. So I'll give away a little bit away at the end here. I thought it was pretty cool. So you can see where this series might be going, so it might be of interest to you. But you can see like Man-Thing. They're talking about I guess the mole people, Man-Thing, and this was a Ghost Rider, so there might be a future team coming up with those 4 individuals. Or 4 characters, I should say. But yeah, I just love the way the Hulk's drawn in this book. Definitely worth picking up. I'm definitely picking up issue 2. I'm not putting it on the pull list yet. I feel like I still got burned with the last volume of Hulk, and I'm a Hulk fan. I mean, especially like I said, the Monster Hulk. But definitely check out these 2 issues. They got the PZ thumbs up. There you go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully my comments worked this week. Didn't show any obscene stuff. Check out the channels down below. I'll leave a list of channels down below. Sub those guys all up. Quite a few of those guys have been putting out some killer content lately. Sorry about the hard edits in this video. Still trying to mess around with some stuff. I'm getting a little interested in doing that kind of the editing stuff, but I'm not trying to make it so obvious that I'm hard cutting everything. Yeah. But definitely check out my Instagram too. Put some stuff up there. Looks like we're getting some Danzig Misfits action figures. So if you want to see what they look like, check out my Instagram. I put a picture of the 5 that they're going to be releasing. And what should I call this, man? First shot. Who shot first? Let me think here. First up the bat. I don't know. I gotta think of something. I think of something cool. You know, like Two from the Tomb is cool. First strike. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think of something. I got a couple weeks before I go back to our regularly scheduled hauls, and let me tell you something, guys. I've been getting some mail lately. You know, it's stacking up. So I got some. I'm gonna probably come back with a Verotic video. Then I got some Spawn stuff. I got all kinds of stuff coming. So I think about 3 more weeks from now I'll have my return of the comic book hauls. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate all your support, and we'll talk to you next time.